who is unbeaten this year, 24 consecutive wins. All sorts of doubts about her back coming into this tournament. No one was really sure. All we know is that it seems to be holding up pretty well. Only she knows exactly what's going on. But she didn't have a terrific semi-final, you have to say, against Conchita Martinez, but the back seemed to be okay.
Yes, she played, I thought, very well against Gabriela Sabatini in the quarters. It was the most consistent performance I'd seen from her for a long time, hardly made an unforced error. Gabby didn't play all that well, but even so, Steffi certainly did. But then in the semi-final, very hesitant at times, a set and 4-1 up and breezing along, and in the end it was a big struggle. There's still all sorts of rumours around about Steffi. I mean, there's the one rumour going around that Wimbledon will be her last tournament before retiring. I think we take all these sort of rumours with a very large dose of salt.
And I think, depending on the severity of the problem, that may be the way she's playing it. She'll probably take it as it comes.
Yes, one or two people close to her been saying that with all the injury problems she's had over the last year and a half, really, because the back problem was a constant problem. She's got a spur in her lower back, constant problem during 1994. And they say actually being away from the game has made her more enthusiastic about playing, because she now realises what it would be like not to play.
Certainly her results reflect that. Although, as we said, there was an amazing dip at the beginning of the match against Martinez. Steffi with $15 million to her credit in prize money, but you can quadruple that for off-court earnings. And Arantxa too, a prodigious earner, close on $10 million worth of on-court prize money. Steffi's dropped the one set against Conchita in the semi-final, but otherwise it's been very impressive indeed. As you said, I thought she looked magnificent against Sabatini.
Yes, and she knew it. In her press conference afterwards, she was saying that's the most consistent performance I've produced for a long, long time. So often with Steffi, as in the US Open final last year, when she blazed all over Arantxa in the first set, 6-1, and everybody thought, well, this is perfect tennis. She then struggles in the second set, whereas Arantxa normally sort of wears down her opponents in the first set, and they're so exhausted at the end of that she then seems to win the second sets much more easily than the first.
Tactically, how do you see it? Do you see it as Steffi trying to puncture holes in the Sanchez Vicario forehand, and Sanchez trying to major, obviously, and keeping the ball away from Steffi's forehand?
Yeah. Forehand of Arantxa is the weaker wing. I mean, it's not a bad shot by any means, but it's not as consistent as the double-handed backhand. What she will do is to try and live with the big forehands, get them back, and get the ball somehow to Steffi's backhand, because that was Steffi's great problem against Monica Seles in their great rivalry, is that Monica could attack her off both wings. Steffi could only attack off the forehand. And it was interesting, Steffi saying the other day in her match with Martinez, she should have hit far more rolled backhands. Mind you, she said that time and time again. You go out there and you watch her in practice with Heinz Guntard or with Renee Stubbs, who was with us earlier in the week, and she'll hit roll backhand, topspin backhand after topspin backhand in practice. Come to the match and it's back to the good old dependable slice.
Yes, I remember one, I think, against Martinez, just one.
Yes, that's about it. I would say, though, that the lady in our screen, the world number one, is not going to lose this match. Steffi will have to go out there and win it. Steffi could, if she has one of her wayward days when the forehand doesn't work, she could easily lose it. But with Arantxa, you have to go out there and beat her, because she gives you nothing.
Looks relaxed, Steffi, but a kind of anxiety creeps in if things start to go wrong. Arantxa, on the other hand, I think of all the top women players, is probably the most level-headed competitor.
Yes, she's a superb, gutsy fighter. She knows her limitations. She knows that she's not the best aggressor in in the game, but she'll get everything back. And it just to sort of illustrate the points we were making about how she wins the first set more easily. In the second round against the French girl Putowski, 6-3, 6-love. Next round, 6-3, 6-1, 6-4, 6-love, 6-3, 6-1, 7-5, 6-3. It is so exhausting to play against Arantxa on a clay court that if you lose the first set, you think, oh, I can't possibly go another 2 sets against this woman out here.
So she hasn't dropped a set in her path to the final. Steffi's dropped just the one. It's the only set she's dropped this year. That really, well, a miserable set it was, the second against Martinez, but she used that safety valve in the third set. Seems to me that sometimes she has a bit of a safety valve. When things start to go wrong, it looks like the game's up, and she suddenly stops herself. Sometimes it doesn't work. Against Laurie McNeil last year at Wimbledon.
2 minutes, mesdemoiselles, 2 minutes.
Just 1 minute to go before the start of the ladies' final.
Mademoiselle Steffi Graf, Allemagne.
No doubt who's the more popular. Steffi with an immense fan club here at Roland Garros, particularly here, although of course she's popular all over the world. But Arantxa has her supporters, and most of them are so firmly behind her because of the combative, competitive spirit that she displays. She's going to have to fight here. Patrick Varel is the man in charge. And the world #1 position, as David was saying, up for grabs here for Steffi if she wins. It'll be the 6th time this year it's changed hands if she can win here. And of course a small matter of $620,000, although Steffi won't be counting. It's the rest of us who do.
Yes, there's one thing about a Grand Slam final. You can be sure that neither of them are thinking for one moment about the money. This is all about the prestige and the title.
Arantxa, who won her first Grand Slam title here at the age of 17, the youngest ever winner back in 1989, and winner last year, of course, in a rather disappointing final against Mary Pierce. Rain intervened then. We hope it won't today. The forecast is for clouds, but only a very light shower and unlikely. It's not so good tomorrow, but more of that later. Here, the ladies' final. Steffi to start. And Arantxa knows straight away she's not going to be hitting too many backhands.
Kenza.
Steffi's serve, David, obviously very important to her.
Yes, you need to get a high percentage of first service in, and particularly in that juice court, swinging it wide. Peter Graf, the father, first time we've seen him here, sitting next to Steffi's brother, Michael, who's just got married.
Edgy, the forehand there. Often when she starts to get a little nervous, she gets that little hook shot in. It looked there as if it might be beginning to start. Obviously very difficult moments.
40-30. Jeu, Mademoiselle Graf.
Very solid service game. So she can breathe a little easier now. Graf leads 1-love. So it's the champion here at love 1 in the opening set. Well, very well played rally by Steffi Graf. And there you did get that roll backhand.
Yes, and it was an aggressive shot. It forced Arantxa back. Heinz Guntard on the right, Steffi's coach. Arantxa's way deep, and Steffi with this beautiful little angled drop shot. And quick though she is, Arantxa just couldn't quite control it, having run it down.
Because having said that Arantxa's not going to play too many backhands, what of course is happening is that Steffi's favourite slice, there's Steffi's mother there, Heidi. The slice backhand naturally will go to Arantxa's backhand.
Yes, and how she ought to use that is to force Arantxa wide into the backhand corner and then attack the forehand.
So a couple of loose forehands early on from Steffi. Well, in their practices this morning, there would have been very few shots missed like that, but of course it's a totally different kettle of fish right now.
Yeah, we all look pretty good in warm-ups, don't we? That's Steffi's father again.
Again, the drop shot, which didn't seem to me to be a great percentage shot, even if it had come off.
No, it was played from way back. You watch Steffi's just behind the baseline, and you really have to get things perfectly right to pull that off. And anyway, Arantxa would have run it down.
Mademoiselle Sanchez Vicario.
That's a much stronger game from Sanchez Vicario, and signs of a little bit of impatience with Steffi, trying to end rallies perhaps a little early.
Yes, I wonder just how confident she is of that back we were talking about, although she did play out there for 2.5 hours against Conchita.
just the kind of rally she'll want to repeat time after time.
Premier service.
To rather snatch at it.
She's always struggled against the high bounding ball. Happier playing that slice from round about waist height.
Wow. That will do Sanchez Vicario a power of good. Steffi hitting it to her supposed weakness. And look at this.
Steffi stranded in mid-court. That's the sort of point where I want to get out there and strangle her and say, move forward when you've hit that big forehand.
So 15-30. Again, a little hook evident. And here there are 2 break points now for the reigning champion. Definite signs of anxiety, and Sanchez Vicario has started very positively and met fire with fire. Steffi's hit her with some of her best shots. They've come back with interest. The Spaniard leads 2-1 with the break. It's first blood to Spain here. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario breaking Steffi in the last game. 2-1 in this opening set. Oh, well, if ever there was a shot to restore some confidence, that might be it.
Yes, and how lovely to see her do it. Coming forward and playing that low backhand volley. Oh, Martina Navratilova would have been proud of that one. Funny enough, it's her normal strength, that forehand, which is beginning to let her down. Another roll backhand there, which was good. The forehand does look wayward. And it gets its reward there. First one a little short, the second wasn't. Steffi doesn't worry too much when she misses her backhand, but if the forehand is going off, then she really does worry.
Well played, good positive stuff from Arantxa, following it in. And a chance to cement her advantage here.
Mademoiselle Sanchez Vicario.
Well, Steffi looking a little awkward on return. Christian Beam, the president of the French Federation. And there's no doubt who started the better here.
S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît, merci.
Now, this was during the last changeover. Some eye drops. I think just a question of a little bit of top dressing had got in Steffi's eye.
So it's 1-3.
Zéro.
No. It seems to me that one of the problems may be footwork. Again, she didn't really get her body out of the way there.
Yes, getting very tucked up on those balls coming into her. And she, of course, has the habit of running round the backhand at every opportunity.
Arantxa examining her racket just at this stage. She doesn't want to produce any unforced errors. She's putting a lot of pressure onto the champion. The wind getting up a little now, and the clouds are darkening, I have to say. Disappointing end to the rally, but twice that hoisted lob gets Sanchez Vicario out of trouble.
Superb illustration, this, of the defensive skills of the Spaniard, scampering around that far baseline. And really, Graf had dominated the rally, but lost it. And again, didn't have the courage to get in on the net.
30 all. Yes. The lob landing a little shorter, and that was enough.
40-30.
Bold and positive here. Takes it very high. Head height.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Emilio Sanchez Vicario looks on. Steffi holds a serve that time, but not with any real authority. It's 3-2. More treatment for Steffi's eyes. The eye drops being put in during the change round. It's 3-2 to Sanchez Vicario with the break.
15-0.
I was going to say, David, she was moving better.
But precisely the point you were illustrating earlier. The one coming into the body, she's not getting out of the way to make room for her forehand.
Two of the greats here, Nastasi in the back with the shades, and in front, Guillermo Vilas. Could play a bit on this stuff.
Play all day on this stuff.
Oh, there was perfect timing.
But it's wide. It's out wide to her forehand. She's got space for the shot, and she can do the full swing. Now, what she's got to do is to start doing that from the backhand corner.
On the line. Now, Arantxa thinks it might be wide.
30.
And gets it. Now, Steffi doesn't like this at all. I must say, my instinct was that it was on the line, but no. She's being quite politely told, but firmly by Patrick Varel. She was wrong. I must say, my instinct was that it was okay.
Yeah, my gut reaction was exactly the same.
So it's 30 all. Steffi dead lucky there, and no wonder she looks to the heavens. Again, footwork not perfect. It was difficult, but it couldn't have landed in a more awkward place.
She makes life difficult for herself by constantly wanting to run round the backhand. One understands why, because her forehand is such a formidable weapon.
Here's break point, break back point. Again, Graf really lucky, but takes advantage. Too difficult to hoist that back for Arantxa, so Steffi's back in it. Level at 3-all. Still get the feeling that it's Arantxa making the running here.
Yeah, she's played the better, and she'll be cursing her luck and thinking, what have I done to upset the gods? Because they've certainly been against me so far.
But the wonderful thing around Arantxa Sanchez Vicario is that she never gets her down on herself or about anything else. She just gets right back and focuses. It wasn't so with her Spanish compatriot yesterday. Second double.
Threw that ball way too far to the left, over her left shoulder.
Wait, please.
Up 30. $15.30 rather. And that ace comes at a very opportune moment, her first.
30.
Well, Arantxa will be disappointed with that. Such a big point. Not quite, and Arantxa rather fed the forehand there. And Steffi moves in front again.
Mademoiselle Graf mène 4 jeux à 3.
So it's 4-3, Graf first set. New balls, 3-4. And Arantxa, as you saw there, with 80% first serves in. But of course, nowhere near the dominance that Steffi has on first serve, although not so much today, David.
No, it's funny, Arantxa coming up with her first double fault there, that Arantxa has returned the first serve far better than the second, where she's had to make her own pace a bit more. She's made more unforced errors.
And Steffi is beginning to erase the unforced error count. And these are troubles times now for Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. Steffi right into this and could take a stranglehold on this set. That's an excellent little slice there from Arantxa.
Puts this point together so well, Arantxa. Graf showing commendable patience, drops that a little short, and she didn't think that ball was coming over the net. She really reacted very slowly to it. Arantxa really cutting underneath the ball.
Game stuff from the Spaniard, but it's not good enough. The power is beginning to tell here. 2 break points.
15-40.
At the moment, she can't keep Steffi off. 2 points for 5-3. It's out. Arantxa doesn't like it, but she's going to have to take it. Just confirmation from Patrick Varel. And now